Conor McGregor. How about we do that since a friend of yours right there. Conor McGregor loses big in a failed bet against former UFC champion. This is page 13. Rob, if you got a clip here that you want to play, prepare for it. I'm going to read this here. McGregor loses $500,000 after betting on Renan Ferreira to knock out Ngannou in the PFL Super Fights heavyweight champion. McGregor posted proof of his bet, which would have netted him $1.7 million had he won. Instead, Ngannou secured a first-round knockout victory, continuing his dominance in the heavyweight division. McGregor, worth around $200 million, likely won't feel the financial hit. Ngannou, who left the UFC in 2022 as a reigning heavyweight champion, joined PFL seeking freedom to pursue boxing. Ngannou faced Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in a major bouts, losing both. He didn't really lose to Fury, but okay, fine. Yeah. The loss to Fury was competitive. Ngannou dropping. Anyways, Rob, if you got a clip here, go ahead and play this clip.
I don't know if we can show the clip. It's just the fight of Francis Ngannou.
All right, I won't do that. Were you surprised at Ngannou winning in the first round?
Yeah, I was surprised.
Really?
He's been laid off. We don't know how old Ngannou was.
Sure.
I mean, like, he was 36 4 or 5 years ago, and I mean, I'll meet you part way there. He's at least 36, but you know, we don't know. He's coming off a heartache. I'm in that club. He lost a child. Like, that's a really rare club, and boy, going out and exercising and doing those things can really be tough when you're hurting and depressed like that. Not to mention, he took his focus off it. Prior to taking his focus off it in boxing, he missed 11 months because he had a knee surgery to come out. He had a new technique in that. He had a double leg takedown. I mean, I'll just tell you, as a wrestler, like, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to time. He gets on top. He ground and pounded. He was able to control his emotions. He looked really great. And I'm a hater, by the way. And I got to tell you, man, it wasn't a good day for me. He looked really special, and he looked really great. I got to give him that.
Do you think there will be a day where he'll be in the Octagon UFC or no?
No.
Those days are behind us.
Oh, no. Well, his idea of being loyal and honoring contracts and business, I mean, it's just very different. It's very different from the man that sits on the second floor at the UFC. And no, they will not be doing business again.
Even if it was a big day?
No, absolutely not.
So if there was, for the fans, and again, you're in the world, so you can give a different insight than the one. I'm just purely talking from the fan standpoint. If there was the fight that fans would want, what is that fight? Is it him and John Jones?
Well, so he and John Jones was pursued by Dana. I mean, that's one reason I can tell you when his contract is up, if that's still the fight, Dana's not going to revisit that. He did everything he could, including $12 million, which Dana never made public. Dana let the whole world think Francis could go and get more to box Tyson Fury, and it was a big blow on Dana, and Dana just will not reveal guys' numbers. He doesn't want their friends in their inner circle coming and asking for money. Dana protects these guys in ways. He takes a bump on the chin, but that's the real story behind that. And the big fight, as of right now, it is them. However, that it's going to lose out. It's going to come back to Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. And John Jones has his hands full with Stipe Miocic. Make no mistake. And sooner or later, this Alex Pereira is going to move up. Patrick, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like Alex Pereira.
Dude, that would be a fight.
Oh, my God.
He's going up.
So you think he could be John Jones?
I think that he could. I will give the edge to John Jones, but I got to take John Jones at his word, who says, I will commit to one more fight. Now, I know John well enough to know he's going to do 2, but I think you would need 3 fights before you get Pereira into the mix, considering it's not even the division yet, and you got 4 or 5 before you get Francis. Look, let's not even play on Francis. Dana White will not make that fight.
Chael, let me ask you.
He won't make the fight. He tried to make it. He tried to make it when they were in their primes.
No, you got to give him credit because that's what we wanted, and Ngannou went after the check.
And Dana's going to say, I came to do this with you before, when you were healthy, when you were the champion, before you left me, before you did all this. You wouldn't do it then. I'm not revisiting it now.
PBD, when Ngannou was here, he came in with a brace around his knee. We did an interview. This was probably 2 years ago, 2022, I want to say. And I think that was the last time he ever fought in the UFC. I don't think he ever fought in the UFC again. We saw what he did with Tyson Fury. Not shocked to see that he knocked this dude. I think the guy's an absolute beast. I mean, his hands are the size of boulders. But my question is about Conor. Is Conor ever going to fight again?
Right.
Because I feel like it's just this like, hey, big fight coming up. Oh, it got canceled. Hey, Conor got injured.
That's a good point because
Conor
the first time I ever heard Michael Chandler being critical of the UFC, I don't know if you saw that or not, where he was like, look, I sat here waiting for this fight. And he last minute. And by the way, that's kind of tough for Chandler because you're to prepare your training every day, investing money, resources, all this stuff, and he bails and it's like, now what's my fight? I think he's fighting Charles, right? Oliveira. That's coming up, which should be a good fight. Those guys had a good fight last time. But is you think there's going to be another Conor? That's a good question. Will there be another Conor fight?
And a hard spot for Chandler, right? Like, he didn't have any inside information. Chandler had no more info than we had. I would go to Chandler. He'd be coming to me because I work for ESPN, asking me for inside scoop. So he really was getting his news from the internet. And the only reason I say that is the second he takes the fight with Oliveira, which, by the way, is no longer a main event, he's scheduled for a $27 million gate opposite Conor McGregor, and it's going to be the largest. They've never broken $20 million. It's going to schedule for $27 million when Conor pulls out of that fight. Chandler's trying to get it back together. Conor might be the most undisciplined guy in the sport. Chandler might be the most disciplined guy in the sport.
Sure.
He did wait, but where Chandler got a little sideways, it's important that you understand he doesn't actually have inside info. He's got what we got. Conor trolled him. Conor, the very next day after Chandler signed, Conor said, I'm back and I'm fighting Dan Hooker, and we're going to do it in February. And I mean, he had all the dates lined up where Chandler's like, I waited 2 years and you're going to give another guy the shot for 2 months. It's not true. There is not a fight in February with Conor and Dan Hooker. I'm just sharing for you. That is where Chandler got a little bit off course. And as far as will Conor fight again, Dana White has never been in a position, I do mean never, not if it was a week long or in this case, going on 3 years, where he wanted an athlete to do something, the athlete wanted something else, and Dana did not bring that to the public and let them know. I'm offering a deal. He's not signing the deal. That guy's not scared. That guy is, and therefore we're moving on. Dana has not turned on Conor, not in the least. He has stayed so polite and calm. Conor has not turned on Dana. Not in the least. They've stayed so polite and calm. So yeah, if Conor wanted to fight again, he could. But Dana has put one stipulation on it, and he means it quite literally. Conor needs to call me and tell me he wants to fight. Conor is telling all of us he would like to fight. He is simply not sending a text message to Dana White. That's just the truth.
Well, one follow-up on Conor, and this is just from your perspective. Conor is the richest guy to ever fight in the UFC, and it's not even close. I think allegedly he's worth $200 million. The next guy is maybe
Joe Rogan is the next highest paid guy.
Well,
that's the hierarchy.
Yes.
Dana White,
of course.
Conor McGregor, Joe Rogan.
Then you have allegedly Khabib, who's worth $40-50 million. And then there's just everybody else.
Yeah.
And then Dana White once publicly said something. He goes, once Khabib beat Conor, he got a call from Putin, and then the Muslim world embraced him, and he's giving him $20 million houses. When you're worth $200 million and you have got $50 million in the bank, how hard is it to wake up and be like, yeah, I want to get punched in the face again today?
Pretty hard. I mean, Floyd Mayweather did it. He stayed hungry. Oscar De La Hoya did it. So that whole expression, a rich man can't fight, well, a couple of examples say that they can. And to the point that you used, that was actually a line, I believe Marvin Hagler said it. Sugar Ray Leonard got credit, but I believe it was Marvin Hagler that said it's very hard to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Yes.
And
Marvelous Marvin.
Marvelous Marvin. Yes. Sugar Ray took credit for the quote, but it was actually Marvelous Marvin. And I tell you that because it's also Conor's identity. I mean, there is things that a man will do to hang on to his identity. I have seen it from the playground to business to, if you have your identity, this is what you are known for, that it's a death. Even if it's a death to a career, it's a death. And Conor does appear to be clinging to that, but without the discipline. When Michael Chandler was clinging to it, he's in the gym twice a day. He's staying away from his family. He's eating the right things. He's looking at the time. He's getting into bed. It's very different. And so how bad Conor really wants to do it as much as to cling to the identity, which he's able to do. It's stunning. I mean, he had a $27 million gate. I really thought the sun had set on Conor McGregor. It sets on everybody. He's got an injury, hasn't won a fight in 5 years, across 2 different sports. And I apologize, 1 fight in 5 years, across 2 different sports. But I just share that even though they had to return the money, they had $27 million waiting for him. That guy is still over. Red Panty Night is still real, and he is still the top draw.
I will tell you, I think Rogan is worth more than Conor.
Yeah, he is. I said it wrong, PPD.
Yeah, I think
it's Dana Rogan, Conor.
I agree.
I apologize.
Because and a big part of it, why I think that, is because I don't see Rogan being reckless with his spending. It's the only reason. Because money can go very quickly. Remember, 50% is taxes. So you just got to take the 40 to 50 off when you're making the money. And now Rogan's getting paid the big contracts while living in Texas for the last 2 years.
That's true.
Hey,
and
Rogan
saved that 13-3.
Hey, Rogan made a deal with his manager when he got the deal. The manager actually signed it, and she goes, "All right, now I've been here with other actors and stuff. When you start getting weird with the money, we need to have a word. We got to have a word that I can just say to you." He's like, "That will never happen to me. That will never happen." Should have used the word 3 times the next day.
With Rogan?
With Rogan 3 times. But I'm just saying
he's eating a lot of venison.
But isn't that great? Look at how hard he worked. We started a podcast. They fought him tooth and nail. Nobody knew what a podcast was. I was one of his first guests. I did not know it was on the internet. Is it pod, space, cast? How is it spelled? I mean, we really knew nothing. And he didn't want to be famous for it. He wanted to smoke some pot and talk to some buddies, and he heard he could do it in something called a podcast. And so then to see it all work out for Joe, boy, I went on his show, and he had a stipulation, because I was known as a trash talker. He said, you cannot come on here and trash talk other fighters with me. You can't put me in that spot. And that would have been 2009.
Wow.
Yes, and it was small.
He's been doing
if he wanted to take a break, and he did. He wanted to go smoke pot. He said, okay, I'll be back. And he left me there, and I'm entertaining the crowd. And hey guys, I got this new. Yeah, and then he comes back in. But this was the show. Joe became a man of the people. He endeared himself. He hid nothing. Joe is about the only man I know that doesn't lie. You lie because of shame. You lie because you did something, and I should have done this. I prefer the story where this. Rogan will tell you if he did it, and he's always had that deal with the audience. It's straight up, Kamala had better not do his show. It is a massive mistake if she does, because he is not scared of her, and he's not going to kiss up to her, and he ain't going to kiss up to Trump either, for that matter, but Trump can handle it. She can't. Big mistake.
Rogan's going to be a first billion-dollar guy. I think podcast.
Yeah. You think
first billion?
We got 2 weeks until this election. Is Trump actually going to go on Rogan?
Yep.
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay.
You want to make a bet?
We already have a bet. We got 2 weeks out.
The Super VIP one sold out. I think the one for lunch is sold out. There's a few of the VIP ones left, and everything else is moving. Here's the update. Who's going to be attending? You need to know. I already said to you, Michael Francis, Samuel Gravano, Brian Callen, Dave Smith. Here's some new ones. Little Pump reached out.
Yeah.
He's apparently attending. You got Candace Owens is attending. You got, who else? Oh, you got, who did I miss? I just said another. Oh, Jorge Masvidal will be there with us. Jorge's going to be there, which is going to be exciting. And a bunch of other people will be there. So if you haven't yet picked up your ticket before this thing sells out, all the tiers, Rob, play this clip, and then we'll get right into the podcast. Go ahead. I got a big announcement to make. Property I'm on right now. We've been working on buying this property for the last 3 years. It's one of its last kind in America. Why? It's on 11 acres. It's got 2 hangars. It's on an airport. Upgrades of $7 million made here. That's going to be the new headquarters of Valuetainment Media, David Consulting, the podcast, the whole nine. And what we wanted to do, we want to find a way to celebrate this as a new headquarters with inviting you to an event on November 5th, which is election night. A lot of different things people will be talking about, business owners. What's going to happen if it goes this way? What's going to happen if it goes that way? So imagine 2,000 people being here. Let me show you around. Some of you will have a private meeting with me. That's the elite. That's going to be a few of you. Some will get a private tour of the entire office from us. There's a hangar in the back. So you come up here. Imagine there's going to be a couple major tents, 40 feet by 100 feet, where some of the people that are buying general tickets will be there. But over here inside the hangar is where the podcast will be held. This entire thing will be open like it is right now. Inside of it, myself, the PBD podcast crew, some of the super VIPs will be invited to go upstairs in a section that we have that's got a bar, a restaurant, food, kitchen. You're eating, you're watching it from all the way up there while we're doing the podcast down here in the hangar. So imagine in this room, there's 1,000 people, right? While we're going through this whole thing. Conversation, it's going to be from 6 p.m. is when it starts. All the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? Maybe we'll go 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because a lot of things that's going to be going on. And by the way, do you know why we're not cutting this? We're on an airport. These are planes. We have to hear because right here is the airport. And FYI, messy place right there at that stadium right behind us. There's 5 ticket tiers that you can purchase. Each one's got more things to offer. But even locally, there's general tickets to buy for just $75. Bring your wife, bring your husband, bring your family, bring your friends. There's one caveat after you buy the ticket. When you buy the ticket and you come on November 5th, you have to wear Future Looks Bright gear. I'm talking Future Looks Bright hat, a shirt. Doesn't matter. You're going to have to show I got some kind of Future Looks Bright gear because we want everybody here to spread the message and the energy of optimism around the world, back to their states, wherever you're going to be. So November 5th, click on the link above or below, get registered. And if you're watching this saying, well, Pat, I like to travel private. Can I bring my private jet here? 5 of you guys will be. After you buy your ticket, then you can ask us. And that's only available to the tickets at the highest level possible to bring your jet and park it here. So having said that, get your tickets, and I cannot wait to see you November 5th, 6 p.m. at our new headquarters in Fort Lauderdale. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
That was a great pitch, PBD.
Right?
I got to tell you. One take?
Yes,
that was
one
fire.
take. One take. We're going to have a good time. Get your tickets. Go to 5990live.com, Rob, if you can put the link or the QR code. We are looking. By the way, if that night goes the way I think it may go, we may have a hard time pushing people out of this place.
That's what I'm
saying. Go home, buddy. Go home.
No, we want to stay.
It's going to be crazy, but we'll see what will take place.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.